Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at mychickenscratch.com, and this is the project we're making today. This is a card in a box, and it actually will lie completely flat, and you can mail it in a standard size envelope. I'll show you that now. See? Okay, so I'm going to take this back out. To make this, we're going to start with the box first, and that is Coastal Cabana. This measures 9 by 5.5. Okay, so we're going to put this in landscape mode, and we're going to score this at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, 6 3/8, and 8 1/2. And then we're going to turn and score this at 2 3/4. Now at this point, I typically say let's fold it on the score lines. We're not going to do that this time, so hold on just a second. I'm going to get out the Stampin Trimmer, and what I'm going to do is cut the score lines with the trimmer, because we're actually going to be seeing these finished edges, and you want them to be really clean. And if you cut them with the scissors, they're not as clean. If you're a really good cutter, they would be, but I'm not. So I'm going to use the trimmer. So what I'm going to do is move the scoring blade up. I'm going to position this first score line in the grid there, which was at 2 1/8. And I'm going to line up the point of the blade with this score line here, which was the 2 3/4 score line. And I kind of have to stand over it to see. And then I'm just going to cut. I'm going to do the same thing to the rest of those. Okay, so now we've cut up to these score lines, and then this piece right here can actually be removed. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim this, and I should have done this before. I don't want to confuse you. If you want to proceed at this point, you do not have to do any additional cutting. What I decided was, when I made the first one of these, the top of this box and the bottom both measure 2 3/4. But I decided that I wanted the top, these pieces here, to be a 1/2 inch shorter. So what I was going to do is actually trim 1/2 inch off. So I'm just going to position this on the 1/2 inch mark. So you could technically start out with a piece of cardstock that measures 9 by 5 instead of 5 1/2. Okay? Okay, so we're going to fold this score line over, and we're going to put some sticky strip on there. And I can't remember if I said that this is the project that we made on the live stream on Saturday. Okay, so now we'll fold this over. Again, I have not folded those on the score lines, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to bring this up. Okay, so now here's the reason why I didn't. Because the back side of this box, which is where this seam is, we don't want to bend that down, because that's this piece right here that stands tall. And when you are closing this, that piece just never folds in, okay? So that's this piece back here. That's going to stand tall. Okay, so these are our strips that's going to cover this right here. And this piece measures 2 by 2 1/8. Place these on here. So I'm going to use baked brown sugar. That piece measures 4 7/8 by 2, and then the Designer Series paper measures 4 3/4 by 1 7/8. Okay. Okay, now we'll attach these side pieces. We need 3 of those, and that's going to measure 2 5/8 by 2. When I did the live stream, this was the measurement that I did mess up. I said it was a hair bigger, so the 2 5/8 by 2 is the proper measurement if you were watching the live stream. I love this. I can't believe I wasn't going to make one of these. I was a little intimidated, I'll admit. We'll go ahead and make this right here. So I'm using Calypso Coral, Costa Cabana Very Vanilla. And here are our punches. So the 1 1/4, 1 3/8, and the 1 3/4 scallop punch. So the Costa Cabana is going to be the 1 3/8, and the Calypso Coral is the 1 3/4 scallop. We're going to be using soft suede ink. So what I'm going to do is stamp the Just For You first. This is from the Teeny Tiny Wishes. And then I'm going to stamp the cupcake, and I hope I get it the first try. I may not. Oh, I did. Yay. And the reason that I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut any of the pieces off, or the words, or the cupcake. So we're going to use our markers. I was telling the ladies on Saturday that I'm still a little bit obsessed with the Retro Fresh after my One Sheet Wonder class, but I think after this week I'm going to move on. I just had it in my brain for so long that I'm hooked. I'm obsessing. Well, also next month, which is March, it is my birthday month, so I'm kind of focusing on birthday projects right now. Okay, now we're going to use baked brown sugar, and we're just going to sponge the edges. I'm going to attach the Cabana circle to the Calypso with just the snail. I'm going to pop this one up with a dimensional. Then I'm going to add a rhinestone to the cupcake. Okay, and this can go on just like that. Oh, I should have added the adhesive before I put the rhinestone on. Okay, so now for the inside, this piece measures 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. Okay, so I've got the trimmer out again, and I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch on both sides. Or you could score it a 1/2 inch and then 2 5/8. Okay? Okay, and then we're going to cut this in half. So I'm just going to cut that at 1 3/4. I don't think that's exactly in half. It isn't, but it'll be okay. Okay, so you're going to make a Z out of this, see? And this was the part that I struggled with the most, so I think I have it figured out. You're going to put your sticky strip on the opposite sides, so this side and then on this side. So we'll do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take the first one and remove the red backing. And we all determined that this was the most difficult part, and it's not hard, but you want to make sure that you line it up on each side. And so, yeah, and I already messed up. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm coming down just a hair from the edge right there. I don't know if you can see. And then I want to do the same thing on this side. Just come down just a hair. And I'm just going to fold this flat, and that put it where I needed it. Okay, so I'm going to show you again on this one. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, so again, I'm going to attach this side, and then I'm just going to fold it up, but at the same time kind of hold it down because it kind of wants to pop up a little bit. Okay, and there we have it. So just remember, when you go to add that piece, hold it and fold at the same time, and it works. You might have to try it a couple times. So I've got 5 strips here. These are the window sheets, and I've cut them at 3 by 1/4 inch. Okay, and the balloons are cut out with the holiday ornament framelits. These are still available. Okay, so I'm going to cut out 2 of each one of these. So what I'm going to do is just fold this over and then cut this. So I've got my magnetic platform. I'm going to take the ornament or balloon framelit, place that on there. Well, I need to put it on the magnetic platform so it'll stay in place. There we go. And then roll it through. And I've got to do that a couple more times. Okay, so here's what I did to get the backing off of the window sheet. I just used the paper piercer. I'm going to fast forward through the rest of these. So I'm going to talk you through this first one, maybe the second one, and then I'll fast forward it, okay? So I'm going to attach it just like that and remove the backing, and then we'll do the same thing to the rest of these. Okay, so I'm done with the window sheets. They look cute. The next step is the linen thread. I won't make you watch me do all of these. I'll do one and then fast forward it. I may even cut that out instead of fast forwarding it. I know this video is going to be really long. Okay, so I'm just going to make a bow, and the reason that I'm doing it this way instead of tying it around the balloon is because when I add it with a glue dot, it's actually going to keep the bow, and you won't be able to pull it out. And what I'm going to do is actually, because the glue dot is actually too big, so I'm going to kind of squish it a little bit and then place this on there and flatten it. And then now you can see that I won't untie it if I happen to pull on these, okay? Okay, so we have all the balloons ready now, and all we have left to do is actually attach them inside here. So what I'm going to do is just use some glue dots. And this first one here, I'm going to kind of angle over to the side. You want to make sure that you don't exceed past the height of this piece. See? And I did not. So then I'm going to attach this one. Actually, I'm going to use this one. I forgot to fold over the glue dot on that other one. So it's kind of important when you're attaching your linen thread to fold that glue dot in half. Okay, so there's the second one. This is going to look really cute. I'm going to put this one in the center here and bring it up just a little bit taller than the other two. And the last one. It's getting a little crowded in there. Okay, so there you have it. You have to decide which one you like better, the 3 balloons or the 5. I like them both, to be quite honest. And they just store flat, just like that, for the envelope. Have a good day. Thanks a lot. Bye.